Hello, welcome. Dr. Sushma Singh this side. Today in Unit 26, Changing Roles of Media and ICTs in Employment. We are going to start our lecture with topic Internet as Mass Media. For much of the last 150 years, the most striking features of the development of communication technologies have been the capacity to convey information to an ever-expanding range of audiences with a speed that now makes communication instantaneous. The speed of both broadcasting and interactive communication technologies has helped to compress dramatically all kinds of relationships across both time and space. The media in all its form became a central influence in the creation of individualism, communal and national identities in the post-industrial societies. The emancipatory potential of new information and communication technologies has been further strengthened by the emergence of the Internet as a decentralized, interactive, comparatively more democratic network that created virtual communities and multiple realities. From modest beginnings as a showcase of technology and its commercial possibilities for image advertising, the Internet has had a role in expanding the media environment. The Internet fundamentally depends on the telecommunications capacity. It is widely predicted to produce digital convergence in which computing, telecommunications and broadcasting all merge into a single stream of discrete bits carried on the same ubiquitous network. In this transformation of mediated communication into a more vernacular, more interactive, more nearly natural channels, the Internet stands out for expanding participation in whatever it touches. Some scholars have argued that the Internet has become a mass media used mostly by relatively passive consumers, and as such major content providers will dominate it. There is another view which argues that Internet is not a mass media. According to them, since Internet is a giant network that interconnects innumerable smaller groups of links, computer networks, and considering the three functions of Internet, namely electronic mail or email, transmission of messages to addressee or multiple addressee, bulletin boards, World Wide Web stored in Internet carrying varied informations. It is evident that it is available only to the owner of the computer which is connected to a network of computers, and hence it cannot be considered as mass media. People view Internet for transmitting messages to the owner of the computer, and it does not transmit messages or information to the general public as mass media does. There had been attempts to compare Internet and other mass media in terms of audience. Barron and Davies characterized mass communication as a process involving an organized sender engaged in the distribution of messages directed towards a large audience. They argue that broadcasting fits into this model. Internet, which is considered as an interactive pipeline that excludes the possibility of broadcasting, may not have audience in the traditional notion. Unlike the traditional broadcasting, internet communities do need indeed include the possibility of interactive and niche communities. In that sense, the so-called audience of internet is limited and specified. Morris and again define the internet as a mass medium because it addresses a mass audience mediated through technology. They divide producers and audiences on the internet into four groups: one-to-one asynchronous communication, email; many-to-many asynchronous communication, Usenet and news groups; one-to-one, one-to-few, and one-to-many synchronous communication, topic groups, construction of an object, role-playing games, chat rooms, etc. Asynchronous communications searches many-to-one, one-to-one, one-to-many, source-receiver relations. Thus, according to them, some internet communication qualifies as mass communication while some does not, and it is too slippery to define the audience of the medium. As the World Wide Web makes pre-packaged content the norm, the internet increasingly resembles a traditional mass medium. Timothy Roskill argues that the main focus of the World Wide Web is not the production of content, but rather the presentation of already produced material. The dominant activity in relation to the web is not producing one's own content but surfing for content. He concludes that if the emphasis is on viewing material, the internet will become a medium similar to television. Some scholars, when discussing new media of communication, no longer even refers to audiences. They speak of users, of consumers. The logic of the marketing model lies in the changing revenue base for media industries. Advertising supported media revenues have become dropping since the early 1990s, while user supported media such as the cable, satellite, online services, and pay per view have been steadily growing. In the internet based media landscape, the audience is a revenue stream and a source of consumer information, and in that sense, internet is a mass medium. The internet is the first medium that allows access to unedited material or information about events to be delivered to an audience with neither the time constraints of broadcast media nor the space limitations of the traditional press. This is often cited as one of the characteristics that sets the internet apart from other media. This fits the idea of the internet audience as a participatory democratic public. For example, it is often claimed that the internet can foster democratic participation by providing voters with uninterrupted information about candidates and issues. Here we want to close this lecture. Thanks for listening.